Hi, my name is Nikki. I'm an online teacher and I help other online teachers increase their income by generating multiple streams of revenue. One of the ways that I've been increasing my income is by booking classes on Outschool. So the most that I've earned for one class is 93 an hour, and it's a 25-minute class. So I have 46 and 46. You can do the math. Be sure to check out my previous videos. Go to that Outschool playlist and you can see all about applying to Outschool, other Outschool tutorials, how much I make on Outschool, what's the average pay, and all of those good things. If you haven't already, make sure you like this video. It helps more people see the content, and that's really important and helps me out. I really appreciate it. If you're not already subscribed, be sure to do so because I drop videos every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Central Time. Okay, so let's dig into types of classes at Outschool. Outschool has four types of classes. There are one-time classes, multi-day classes, ongoing classes, and flexible classes. So far, I have only done ongoing classes. I know a lot of people think about doing flexible classes because you don't necessarily have to show up live on Zoom. I did attempt to make one flexible class, but when I submitted the application for that class, because at Outschool, you have to get approval to list your class. So somebody actually looks through what you wrote and then they'll approve the class. When I went to list that class, I saw that they wouldn't list it because I had to put a specific time that I would meet to chat with the students every week. And I just didn't feel like committing to that right now because I'm already teaching a lot of classes doing the ongoing classes. Why do I have ongoing classes? That's because they're the most popular. Now, you would think the flexible classes are really nice because the parents don't necessarily have to show up at a certain time every week. However, it seems that parents find ongoing classes really flexible as well because they can come and go as they please. With an ongoing class, there's no definitive end to the class unless you say, okay, this is the last class we're going to have. So, for example, one of my ongoing classes is Spanish 1 for middle school. In that class, I've been doing that class since November 4th, and I've had a lot of students join since then. The first class had 3 students. Now I've had 8 or 9 students. It just depends on if the students end up staying or going based on their skill level, based on their time, their schedules may change. So there's lots of different reasons they may come and go in the class. But I do teach a lot of homeschool kids in that class, and the homeschool kids are very consistent in showing up and they really enjoy learning. So that's why I'm really loving the ongoing classes. Now, the one time classes, this is something that Outschool recommends that you teach in the beginning so parents can get to know you. I have never taught a one-time class just because as a teacher, I always think long term, I think in semesters. So I just didn't really see an ongoing class as a good fit for myself because my brain just can't really, I don't know, I can't think of something that I'm just going to teach one time only. As a language learner, I think more long term. So doing a one-time class for Spanish just didn't make sense to me because that's my niche on Outschool, at least right now. I might expand. I've done reading and writing for tutoring in the past. I've taught social studies in the past, but I don't want to get too overwhelmed with teaching all these different classes. So that's why I only have Spanish on there right now. So that's something to think about for yourself as well. Maybe narrow your niche so you yourself don't get overwhelmed with lesson planning. Now, for the summer, I do plan to do some multi day classes or a boot camp. I think that would be really fun because the kids will have more flexibility. They won't feel like they have to commit to something. And boot camps or summer camps are really popular in the summer. So that's something to plan for. Right now, we're in I'm recording this in February, early February. So just if you're a planner, think down the road, what will you want to teach this summer? That could be like a boot camp or a summer camp. And that would be for the multi-day classes. So a multi-day class would be something like you're going to teach once a week and you're going to meet for a month. Or you can meet several times a week. You could meet 3 times a week and it's just a 1-week class or a 2-week class. So you plan how many times you want to meet. When you set the pay for that class, they're going to have to pay for the whole class at once. So it'll ask you the rate per student, so make sure you keep that in mind. I'll show you guys a tutorial for setting up these classes. Uh, Something I want to go back to with the ongoing classes is that they do now want you to put what you're going to do and which date you're going to do it. So for week 1, we're going to work on XYZ. For week 2, we're going to work on blah, blah, blah. But you also have to say the date that the class starts, because parents will sign up at different times and they might think they're starting from the beginning. So that's also, you have to plan for that when you're doing your ongoing class. Make sure you know what you're going to teach for the coming weeks. So that way parents know what are the students going to be signing up for when they join that specific date. So let's think about an example. So for my ongoing class for Spanish 1 for middle school that started in November, we're now in February. So we've had several weeks. We've had like 12 meetings, I think, and maybe even more, maybe like 15 meetings. And in those meetings, I had one unit we did about adjectives and we learned about definite and indefinite articles. So I had week 1 adjectives, week 2 adjectives, week 3 adjectives review, week 4 definite and indefinite articles. So I would have week 1 November 4th, week 2 November, week 3 November, blah blah blah. But then if I open a new section, I'm going to have to say there's a section that starts February, blah blah blah. There's a section that starts whatever date. And then you want to list those. So if you have a lot of sections, it might look a little strange. So make sure you organize that, and I'll show you guys what that looks like in a tutorial as well. All right, let's jump into the tutorial part of this video. So let's take a look at the types of classes that you can list on Outschool. You're going to want to make sure that you're in the Teaching tab. So if you're not there, make sure you click Teach, and then it'll bring you to the dashboard. Notice that it does tell you the statistics here. Like I have 14 sections in progress. That's how many sections I'm teaching. And I have 93 followers right now. I've taught 88 students. This changes all the time. I've seen it as high as 13% and then as low as 11. I only have 4 classes available because I don't want to overwhelm myself. So the classes that I have available, if we go to classes, I have the Advanced Spanish Immersion, Beginner Spanish for Upper Elementary, Spanish 1 for middle school, and then Super Spanish. And then what's great is you can see how many saves you have. This Spanish 1 for middle school is by far the most popular. These 2 classes fill the most, but my Super Spanish does have a full section. So I did open up 2 more sections, but I'm going to close one of them because only both sections had low enrollment so far, but I will give it a couple months to see if that changes. You do have to, as I always say, you do have to be patient with Outschool. So we're going to click, let's see here. I'm going to click this one because I already tried to submit it. This is Writing for Enjoyment. It's a middle school writing club. This is really important. Sometimes your classes can get rejected. So I have to revise this, revision required. This class does not meet our ongoing class format standards. New ongoing classes are required to submit a minimum of 4 weeks of weekly session topics in order to be considered for approval. If your session topics will be learner directed or dictated weekly due to current events or happenings, please explain this in the class description as well as note any potential supplies or materials that would be necessary from week to week. Your weekly breakdown should be listed as such, week and then the date. So topic or theme, 1 week of, and then date. So that's what they want you to kind of list it like. For speedier approval, follow our guidelines, and how to create a great class listing. Let's take a look at this. So this is a link I'll provide in the description for standards for class listings. That's the great thing about Outschool. They do give you a ton of information. They tell you what they're looking for so that it helps you get booked. So go ahead and browse this page when you finish watching this video. I'm going to click edit. So what I could do, I have it as ongoing. So learners subscribe to these classes, which meet by video chat on a weekly schedule. Learners can join or leave at any time. I did try flexible. I put it up for a listing, but it did not get approved. And I just decided based on the requirement, because you have to chat with them or you have to have some time of week that you are going to touch base with this class. I thought it was just kind of like all by themselves, but it's not that way. So these classes occur using asynchronous messaging on Outschool. On the Outschool platform, they do not meet by video. So just keep that in mind. Multi-day, these ones meet by video over multiple days. Discussion occurs by messaging on the classroom page between meetings. So for the classroom page, let's go back to teaching. So if you want to see the classroom page, you're going to click on the class in the section, and then it says classroom. And then you can put the links or whatever you want to add, whatever information you want them to use to practice, then they can go to the classroom and practice in between classes.
When I was editing this, I realized I never came back to discuss the multi-day and the one-time. So when you have your multi-day class, it can be specific times per week for a certain amount of weeks. It could be 1 week, meeting 3 times a week, or it could be once a week for 6 weeks or something like that. So that's what I'm going to do. I actually decided to open up a Spanish for middle school, just focusing on adjectives and people. This is actually Unit 1 of my Spanish 1 for middle school ongoing class. I'm debating on if I'm going to keep it as it is or if I'm going to switch it over to multi-day for like moving forward for the future, because I have students joining classes that are really like far into it. Like they've been in it since November and now it's February and they're trying to join, and then they're really confused when they join. So it would be a lot of sections to put on there and put like dates and stuff. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna add the dates and I'm gonna see if that fixes the problem or if I should just switch to multi-day classes moving forward and eventually maybe just semester-long classes. But last fall I did not want to commit to semester-long classes. In any case, we talked about ongoing, we talked about flexible, we talked about multi-day. The last one is the one-time class. So whatever you would want to teach for one time, whether it's doing a short story, maybe it would be a dance class. You would do like a one-time dance class or a one-time yoga class. Then you could do something like that, or one time practicing the alphabet, something like that. And I wanted to show you one last thing for your ongoing classes. So this is my multi-day, and it got accepted as it is. I did not have to put dates on it. But for ongoing moving forward, they want you to put dates. So that's something that I have to work on with my current ongoing classes, is adding specific dates when we're doing week 1, when we're doing week 2, and so on. All right, that's the end of this training, and I will see you on the flip side.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you tune in next week, Wednesday, 9 a.m. Central Time. I'll see you over there.